sit down here on this stool if you don't mind, and if you do mind, too bad, because I'll fall over by the time I'm finished with this presentation. But I want to do two things. I want to do a brief discussion as your librarian, and part of the discussion involved the copies that I ran. I've got, again, 3 very good sheets there that will be of interest. I also have a few of the market review magazines put out by Gray Sheet. I have 5 of the ANA show, or I'm sorry, the numismatic news. So if anybody wants any of those, they can have them. If everybody wants the numismatic news, then we're going to have to find a way of passing them out or determining who gets them. So, that's true. That's true. And I find those every once, well, quite often those I go to. Next month there will be a more current review. But again, these are still good. The other thing, as part of being the librarian, I want to mention a publication that really, in my opinion, should be a part of everybody's library. The publication is out of print. It was printed for 8 years. There's 8 editions of it, and it is called Major Varieties and Oddities by Frank, I believe. Yeah, Frank Spadone. We refer to it in the industry as being the Spadone book, okay, or just Spadone. It is very, very good. They're hard to find, and you'll see why I'm discussing this book here in about 3 minutes. Again, my opinion, if you're going to have any books, of course, my first opinion would be Red Book, and the Red Book Manga book, the Cherry Picker's Guides, and then this. So, just something to keep in mind. You're going to find these on eBay if you're lucky. I just checked today; they are on eBay. They were originally issued for $2, and eBay, you're probably going to have to pay $10 or so. If anybody wants me to search for these at shows, I can pick them up sometimes. So just let me know. So, moving right along, I'm going to pass out some informational sheets. Let's see if we can pass those that way. And that way. And pass a few back that way. Sam already knows this, so he doesn't need one.
Thank you.
You did? Anybody else? Let me know if you don't have enough. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Standing Liberty Quarter, and specifically the 1916 Standing Liberty Quarter. I'll give you a little bit of background on it if I can remember. But the most important thing is, as we all know, the dates on the Standing Liberty Quarter, the first design wore off very quickly and badly, to the point where you can't even make out what they are. In the early stages, which was 1916 and 17, essentially there was 3 different designs. We're all familiar, I'm sure, with Type 1 and Type 2. Type 1, of course, the original issue, came out with a bare-breasted Liberty. There was so much uproar back in that time, especially from the women of the time, about Liberty being bare-breasted, that they changed the design to Type 2 in that same year. So, and what they did, of course, was put basically a shirt or whatever on Miss Liberty. But the interesting thing is that as you know, the first year that the Standing Liberty came out was in 1916. And one thing that you may not know is that it was illegally minted. A little background there is the U.S. Mint operates under guidelines, from the United States government, and you are only allowed, or the Mint is only allowed to change designs once every 25 years, which before the Standing Liberty was the Barber Porter. It started in 1892. And so it couldn't be changed without any kind of act of Congress or whatever until 1917. So the 1916 Standing Liberty Porter was minted in the last two weeks of that year. And they were issued for circulation, but they were issued illegally. So that's just a little bit of trivia you might find interesting. So the real topic that I wanted to discuss tonight was how to tell if you have a 1916 Porter if you can't read the date. Everybody knows, I think, that knows anything about Standing Liberty Porters, is that one way to tell Type 1 from Type 2 is the 3 stars under the eagle on the reverse. Type 2 has the 3 stars. Okay, but how do you tell a 1916 from a 1917 Type 1 if the date is gone? And once you know this secret, it's pretty simple. Of course, the first thing you do is going through your quarters. Again, you look for the 3 stars. Anything with 3 stars, you throw that out. But then you've got a handful of quarters that don't have any stars on the back. So how do you tell the difference? You've got the sheet that I just handed out. And if you will notice, and after we get finished at halftime, I do have all 3 varieties of the coins over there at my table if you're welcome to take a look at it. But the 1916, you want to look at the little fold down into the left of Miss Liberty's foot. And that's how you tell the difference. The fold in her gown on the 1916 has more of a square shape. The 1917, if you'll look, Type 1, has more of an oval or S shape. And that's what you look for. If you look down here at the very bottom of the gown, it's kind of horizontal with the step, where on the 1917, it's kind of curved with the step. And then the Type 2 is totally different and easy to determine because it's more diagonal than what the other 2 are. So, it's worthwhile looking through all your no-date Standing Liberty Porters because even in poor 1 condition, that's about the worst you can get, and it's on, 4.1 is, it is identifiable by the type. But if you can identify it, they go for over $1,000 in 4.1 condition. So if you find one, and you can identify that little fold in the gown, Miss Liberty, you probably got a, $750 to $1,000 fine. So that's the reason I wanted to point that out, and hopefully it'll be good information. Did everybody get one of these to have enough that everybody got one? Okay. I don't see anybody raising their hand. They didn't get one. So, again, I've got some brochures over there. I got the magazines. And anybody have any questions? I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here,
oh, of course.
of course. Now, and what the Indian head sends when the dates are obliterated, they do a little ash thing on them. How would that affect this? How does that affect the date?
It should not, you say acetone or acetone?
I don't know what it is.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that, so that'll be a good topic for you to present next month. Seriously, I don't know anything about using acetone to bring out dates. Now, my understanding, and this is a topic for another night, but acetone, which is fingernail polish, or xylol, which is a paint solvent. They're both solvents, and according to the ANA, that is an acceptable method of treating your coin.
Does not affect
It
the value.
doesn't affect, it takes the gunk, as I refer to it, off the coin. So if you have like a black spot of dirt, one thing you could do, which you don't want to do, is take your knife and just scrape that off. But instead of doing that, just take a cotton swab with a little acetone, and that will take those dark spots off, the dirt, and most importantly, the polyvinyl chloride type gum that you get from being in a plastic slip. So, again, according to the ANA, that is acceptable because it's a solvent. And they don't consider the coin to be clean if you treated it that way. So,
And we just do it on the date, we can't do the whole point.
you can do the whole coin, yeah, yeah. But it does not alter the coin other than just taking off the dirt or the gum. So, as always, I will give the disclaimer, try it on a low value coin and see what happens before you try it on anything valuable. So just, pull a wheat penny out and just see what it does before you use it on your 1916 standard quarter. Yeah, I don't know of anything that will pull the date out on anything other than, of course, the nickels. And you've got the nickel date restored. But then that decreases the value of the coin by
That's what I was thinking.
70%.
And that's an acid.
That's an acid, yeah. Yeah, I forget what kind it is, but that's an acid. So. Any other questions, or did I answer your question?
You got it.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, it is.
Nobody?
Well, thank you, Richard.
All right, who's going to do it next month? You, Sam?
I probably eat too much pizza to be able to do that.
Anybody want to volunteer for a topic or have a topic they want to discuss or would like to have somebody discuss? Don't be shy. You can sit right here in this chair. If not, I will try and put something together. I had a certain person in our club ask me about 2-cent pieces and how to identify the two different 1864 small letter and large letter 2-cent pieces. So if you'd like me to talk about that,
That'd be wonderful.
Grading would be a good topic.
I will add that
And you
to,
probably have.
Yeah, well, very basic, small things.
what's that?
You ever have the small thing?
Yeah, I've got a small date and I'll bring it in.
You know, a lot of people do look for them.
Yeah, yeah.
They're easy to distinguish.
Yeah, I mean,
I found the one that like you did slip when it was in Coin World. I seen it today, I still got it, and I cut it out. If you're running copies, it'd be nice, so you can stick it out. In your deed and,
yeah, yeah.
deed and trust.
But John does not have a picture of it, but I can, I will bring some kind of a picture or whatever of what the two different varieties are.
Okay.
So,
That'd be great.
I'll do that.
Thanks for.
Okay.